All right, so this is, I need to do like an intro. I just was gonna go straight into content. What do I have that I could do? I don't really have anything I could do an intro with. What? I need an intro! I need an intro, dude! Jeff, I need an intro! Where you go? Come back, Jeff! Charlie! Charlie! That's a good girl. She knows how to do an intro. All right, now that that's out of the way, we can get into some content. And today I'm going to be running my Fueltech harness on my Civic build. I'm going to show you the parts that I bought and how I'm going to go about attacking this whole harness situation, which is going to be a bear, but when it's done, I think it's going to be a nice option over spending the money on a harness made by professionals. Even saying that sentence, I realize this is probably a bad idea for me to tackle. Okay, so first and mostly, you got K-series all up in here. You got a variety of sensors that you're going to have to hook up. I have never wired a K-series in my life, so this is going to be a whole new adventure. But yeah, you got a sensor over here. You got 4 coils. You got sensor here and then another one there. And then you got the coolant boy right yonder. You got, I'm guessing that's oil pressure. I don't know what that is. It's down there. But you got a variety of situations going on. Cam and crank sensor, I don't even know where they are on a K-series. I'm guessing the crank sensor's down there somewhere, maybe? Again, that's not like staged. I have no clue where any of this stuff goes. So this is gonna be good. What could go wrong? Also, just a reminder, Rye lied about going 814. It never happened. We've never seen the video. It is a big fat liar. All right, to start out on this deal, here's what we got. Mako Motorsports dash mount, the Fueltech FT450, ECU/dash, and then wideband controller right there. So that's actually a gauge into WB2 like a controller. Through the back there, you could tell I just hole sawed that joint out so I could fit it through. This bolts into stock location. So what I need to do next is start with my generic harness and feed it through the firewall, and that way I can start terminating wires. And when I say generic harness, what I mean is you can buy this from Fueltech. Pretty much every EFI company is going to sell something along these lines. A lot of them use the same connectors, but this is just their, if you look it up, it is just their unterminated 10-foot harness. Like it's just a standard unterminated, full of wires, no connection or no plugs, unterminated harness. The other thing you're going to need, I've already opened it and spoiled it, but an unterminated wideband harness as well. And what this does is one end plugs into, well, I'll just show you. The back of this, you get this plug out, wrong side, this one right here. This right here, flip this over, just plugs right in to the back of the wideband. So what this does, excuse me, this end plugs into your dash, like your little screen I just showed you, the wideband screen. This end, get it? This end will plug into your O2 sensor. And the unterminated wires, pull this up, these you have to terminate yourself. I'm guessing you get a little bit of ground, power, you know the deal, all that stuff. I probably should read the instructions. But that's what I'm starting with, 2 generic harnesses and a completely empty engine bay. That's the beginning point of this project. I'm also blessed it is 39 degrees out today, so I can have the door open. I would have the door closed and the heat on, except earlier this morning, I had my propane torch going. It was too close to this pristine 91 Civic, so I kicked it out of the way and went back to work, started smelling some fumes, and I came over, and the main propane feed line was, well, about to melt the whole house to the earth. So, probably going to give this a rest. And I can tell you, that's why it's not an American-made hose. That's why it burned to the ground. But, God, it was fun. All right, back to installing. So what I need to do first is I need to get this thing into the car. Now, if you guys have seen Mako Motorsports stuff installed before, you know this stuff's pretty reliable from a fit and finish standpoint. And this is no exception. Apologize for the glare with the garage door open. This is, well, I think I posted this video already, or a part of this. Not this video, but the discoveries. Let me get some light. Hold on. All right. So this is the wiring behind the dash right now. It's terrible. I don't know where any of it goes. I see this joint comes out. That's like the factory harness. And then, oh, I just pulled something out of somewhere. And this is good. This is my all-time one of my favorite things I've found. So instead, it's just a giant ball of solder that they use to like make one big ground hub. Like, just get that out of there. Like, look at, oh, it's coming at me. It's like asbestos. It's like freaking asbestos. You see all that stuff? What is it? I breathed it in. Call an ambulance. I have calmed down a little bit. I've gotten a lot of this stuff out of here. This spool was just loomed into some other stuff with some butt connectors. It looks like it is part of the stock harness, so put that to the side. Same deal over here. It looks like it's part of the stock harness, so I'll put that to the side. Or this harness has been redone at some point, but I'm not worried about that stuff really that much at all. Get rid of this zip tie probably though. Don't need that. You can see what I've gutted out of it already. This is that, well, part of the ball of solder that was in there before, which again, it's just funny. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Also, where is this piece? So this piece sits like this, and you can tell that it's been broken previously. I don't know if you can see the residue from the glue. Yeah, there you go. So this, when I went to pull the remote start out, it had an S2000 remote start, and when I went to pull that out, that piece just kind of fell out with it. A relay back here for something, I'm not sure, but I'm gonna have to gut basically anything that's in here that's not stock. I'm gonna just gut and then start fresh with whatever I can, and then I gotta find the connector for this. Maybe I'll just, I mean, I really want that. That's like some Toretto stuff. That is not a Civic EF fuse box, and these are not original loom. None of this is. It's all new, which I didn't know that it had all this new stuff, because if this was 91 stuff, it'd be falling all over the place. So my guess is the previous owner, whoever built the car originally, installed a newer gen Civic harness or RSX chassis. I don't really know, honestly. I could be wrong. Maybe this is a Civic EF harness. It just looks too nice and clean to be from 1991. All the connectors are crisp. Like, I mean, sure, this plug's yellowed, but it's not like grimy. This stuff's not giving me cancer immediately when it flakes off. All the labels are nice and new looking. I'm not sure what the hell's going on here, but I do know that I have this main clump of wires that goes underneath the dash and over to the glove box. Out of the way. And then this main plug, this plugs into the fuse box. If I crawl back under there, I can show you. And this is where they were drawing, I'm guessing, ground and switched power and things of that nature from these plugs where they have taped and spliced into it. So I'm not 100% what's going on there, but I know the previous couple owners and the people that built it, so maybe I'll reach out to them. Gotta clean all this stuff up first though, because that's not a knife. It's so cold, and I know that this clip makes no sense compared to what you just watched, but I stopped working on the Civic to work on the RX-7, and I put RX-7 video up, and now I'm back on the Civic, and I have a trunk full of propane and a cabin full of snacks, and I'm ready to get back after it just as soon as my garage thaws, because it's so cold. They didn't even attempt to salt or, I mean, I didn't either. Look at my driveway, it's just a solid sheet of ice. All-wheel drive, baby, all the way up. Like that song where they say, all the way up. You know that song? I don't know. It's okay though, because I got the ultimate combatter for this freezing situation. I'm gonna blow the house up. We got the Mr. Heater going. Doubled up on the propane. I'm thinking I'm gonna stage him like nitrous and blow the heat all up in this mug. Back on this thing though, I'm sorry I gotta talk so loud with the heater in the background. I got the turbo clocked as well. I got the downpipe cut down so it actually fits. You can see, hold on, let me finagle. So it's just a dump right now. The transfer case is installed loosely just so I could get a measurement, but now I have the main workings of what I need to wire around so I don't melt anything to the earth. So you know what's going on, you know how cold the garage is. Now we can take a look at the Fueltech unterminated harness that they send. They send you, every time you buy one of these, they send it with 786 feet of wire. All right, I just filmed and deleted probably, I don't know, another 15 minutes. I came to the conclusion in making this that I'm an idiot. Well, pretty predetermined. But the unterminated universal harness is like $100, which is a good deal if you have the time to wire it. I don't have the time to wire what it's going to take to do that. You have to add relays. You have to add power ground. I mean, there's everything that's included in a terminated harness you have to add, and I don't have the time to do that. However, Fueltech sells a universal 4-cylinder harness that will take 1/5 the time to modify, and that is what I'm going to purchase for this thing. It's $5.99 on their website. It comes with relays broken out. It comes with shielded wiring. It comes with labels on all the connectors. So I'm going to purchase that. So this video is pretty pointless other than me telling you, thank you for watching, buy the universal harness instead. Charlie, should I install the clutch master cylinder kit or should I end the video? End the video or the master cylinder kit? Pay attention to me. Please pay attention to me. Did you pay attention to me? All right, the heater's working overtime, but this is a Hush Performance. Let me lay all this stuff out. Hush Performance master cylinder conversion kit with billet reservoir. And I purchased this used. I guess it was never installed, just pulled out for pictures. I'm hoping that that's the case. Instructions. All right, so this allows you to take an EF Civic and convert it from this dingleberry clutch cable to a present day master cylinder situation. If I know anything about master cylinder conversion kits, they're a giant pain in the effing A to hook up, and I'm sure this is going to be no exception. So here we go. All right, number one, remove your seat. The good news is these seat bolts weren't even really that tight. They're all loose, so I can pop the seat right out. So step one, pull the seat out. I'm finger banging this bolt out of the hole right now, if you're wondering. Okay, seat's out of the way. The next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna have to remove this entire pedal assembly. So to do that, there's 4-ish nuts passed through the firewall. You can see this. I can't crawl under here, I'm too fat. But you guys get the idea. You have to remove this pedal assembly. You're gonna have to drop the rack a little bit, well, the steering column rather, in order to shim it out of the way. So make sure you do that as well. Get that out the way. All right, with the steering column dropped, you can see more of what's going on that's holding that whole pedal assembly on. Looks like 5 or 6 bolts-ish. Refer to your factory service manual for accurate count and measure. Okay, so clutch pedal assembly's out. There are 4 bolts that surround the master cylinder. There's one up here by the clutch, and then there's one down here by the throttle, and then you'll have this ghost unit right here that'll be pointed straight up. So pedals are in the car like that. You go, again, 4 on master, 1 on clutch, 1 on throttle, and then this dingleberry right here. Next step is to drill a 5/16 hole just underneath this clutch hook situation. So just below there, 5/16 hole is what they call for. And if you look at their instructions, 5/16 hole in the center of the clutch pedal, just under the clutch cable hook. So that's the clutch cable hook and that's the hole. So I'll be taking my 5/16 drill bit just underneath that clutch hook. Okay, so with this drilled out, this is how this unit bolts in. You see this hole and this hole, well, back here, this one, they bolt right here and right here. So this will actually, the master will actually sit on the opposite side, but I need to take this off and I need to take this off so that they can bolt to their respective locations. Once that's in place, I'll show you how we have to shim this rod so it's as straight as can be. Okay, so the reason they actually give you a couple ways to adjust this, so I can wrangle, it's such an awkward thing. But there's these two bolts. Man, this is awkward-ish. It's just like prom night with rye. Hold on, God in heaven, okay. So this is a bolt, an OEM bolt location, and obviously that back there is an OEM bolt location. They give you these two bolts that you leave loose. I leave loose, rather. This is how I'm doing it. What you want to do is make sure that that prop rod is as parallel to the master cylinder as possible in two directions. This way, and then above, front to back. Because if it's side loads one way or the other, what you're going to do is wear out the inside of that master cylinder, again, like rye on prom night. So these two stay loose, leave this back one loose, and then you can shimmy, shimmy, Cocoa Puff the thing all around to get it as parallel as possible. Once that's done, tighten these up. The other thing is they include some extra washers so you can actually shim this back and forth, left and right, to make sure that it's straight as well. But once everything is parallel and as straight as possible, then you tighten everything up. And there you have it. We got parallel and parallel. And now when you actuate the clutch, you'll actually have the hydraulic action instead. That's a view of it all installed and together, and then it bolts back into the car, and you can run your clutch line and your fill line, which I'm gonna do in just a second. All right, so this was a nightmare. This was an absolute nightmare. It's back in the car. I'm not even gonna continue with the tutorial on installing it because it's not even worth it. You got to tear all of the fresh air ducting out of the car from that side to get it to fit where the master cylinder fits. I'll show you real quick. So where the master cylinder sits, right there, that's where all your fresh air ducting was, where this thing was, where this entire piece just effing broke off the damn dash. Just a lot of BS, and I'm just in a salty mood over it. I will never install another hydraulic conversion kit on a car again. This is the last one I'll ever do. Mark my words. Oh, I can't close it because all my stuff is in that door jam because I had to take it all out to fit all this jackass pile of trash in. God! The conversion kit's 99% done. My master cylinder for my brakes is bolted back in. I'm bleeding from the head. I cut my head open, which is cool, but otherwise, everybody have a blessed day. This is my outro song. It's dedicated to hydraulic conversion kits and how I'll never do it ever